Caryn, what I'm going to try to do today, right? Really is just to try and take you through the journey from, was it March when you started?
March, April.
March, April, right? The summer around there. Yeah. So I
Yeah.
just want to take you through that journey, and this is also for your own reflection, for our own reflection, and also to kind of share the story with anyone who might care to listen, right?
Okay.
So you know that we are story brand fans, so I'm gonna follow the story brand sort of outline to run this interview, so that it also brings the information out in perspective, right? So
Okay.
before we start, okay, Caryn, you want first question that I have before anything else. Do you remember when you started, like in April? What was your motivation before you even came to the to that first orientation? What was your motivation before?
So I just wanted to create a better life for myself, and I wanted like um I knew that I had potential in me to do something great. It's just that I didn't know what it was that I really
That
wanted
you
to
could
do.
do?
And then when I saw this flyer once on social media, I was like, then something just told me, go ahead and try it, you never know. And that's when I was like deep bottom into like, what am I gonna do with myself in my life? And I was like fighting it, and then yeah, I am
Yeah,
now. I'm
I
very
remember. I
thankful
remember
that I actually took the
you were at a
opportunity
job
and
at that time. I remember. So after we spoke and you got to understand the program, you were like, "I'm
yes.
leaving this job." As in, I couldn't help but add that part when I was writing the invitation email this morning. That it literally made you sick, the job, right? Because I remember what was it? Was it hypertension? What was it? You had a couple of
Yeah,
things that you
yeah.
were. So how
I
is
had
that
like,
going now?
oh, I had anxiety, I had depression, I had hypertension, everything. It's just that because you know when you need to do something for yourself and your body will automatically know that change has to happen and then your
Mm-hmm,
environment will be impacted.
mm-hmm,
So it's very important to follow your mind and really because I really prayed about it and I knew like
mm-hmm.
there is something that I have to do for myself because you know it's not easy these days. People will say like, "Oh, don't do this."
You still remember what kind of fears were running inside you at that time? When you're making that decision, when
uh,
you're saying, I'm leaving this job and I'm going to start this thing, what kind of fears were, were you going through? Because I job and I'm going to start this thing. What kind of fears were, were you going through? Because
the only fear that I had was like I'm getting older and I don't have something that's stable as yet. And then it was like um and I didn't tell anyone about it at the time because you know the outside energy is that's very impactful. So I really had to make that decision, and it took me very long for me to realize, or even tell people. I only told people like December that I'm doing this because that's only when I had got more clients, and now more clients are coming. For me, it's also like wow, I can't believe it, you know.
neither can
But
I.
at that time it was like, what are you doing? You don't even have backup money. You don't even have savings or anything like that, you know? And then, yeah, I am.
All right. So just because I know what a turbulent journey it's been the last what 8 7 8 months.
Yeah.
But I would like to know, but deep down inside you, how much time did you give yourself to say, I'm willing to try this for so long to see if it works or it doesn't?
Mm.
What was that time that you gave yourself?
I wasn't gonna give myself about a year because remember to learn a new skill. It's because remember you're learning a new skill. You becoming a freelancer. You need to have your clients. So that things all take time.
Mm-hmm,
I didn't know I would be earning in that short period of time, you know?
mm-hmm,
And remember, I set a very small financial goal for myself.
I remember the goal.
Yeah, so which was it, and for me it's because I was so afraid to think bigger than that because I didn't know that I can actually, become greater than this. So I thought,
Right.
okay, let me set this a small goal for myself to say then we'll see how far
How
we
it
can
goes.
go with it.
Right.
So me setting that small financial goal for me made me attract the little work. So the moment I started to think bigger, to know that like anything is possible and I can be earning as 15,000, 20,000 a month, So
Mm-hmm.
the moment I had to set such goals for myself, more I started attracting more, and I started
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
thinking in different ways of not only becoming a web developer, but also being a web developer and assisting your clients in
You're
certain
doing
different
admin
ways,
work. You're
other than
doing like you're
only
doing
being
basically what do they call it? Remote assistance. You're doing that stuff.
yes, and then I'm doing
You're
the
doing
social media,
graphic.
then
You're
I'm
doing a
doing
lot of
the
graphic work
yes,
in the art.
yeah,
So that's wonderful.
yeah.
All right, cool.
So it's not only like one thing that you because when you do pick up a web design skill, you do graphic design as well because you're designing things for clients. You're
Mhm,
not only designing the website because remember when you are designing a website, there is certain other things that goes into
mhm.
you automatically become a graphic designer as well.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right. So just a quick question. Pricing. How have you evolved as in from back then to
Sure.
now? What have you learned about pricing your work?
Mm.
And what would you
Pricing
suggest to
my
someone who's about to start?
mm. Pricing my work I spoke to one of my clients about this as well, and she explained to me, and she said that your value is worth your pricing. If you know that you're putting this amount of effort into the project,
Mhm,
you can charge. If you
mhm,
know you're doing it half-heartedly, then you can charge 1.5. But if you
mhm,
know you're putting in the hours, the creativity, the brain work, the research, everything that goes into it, you can charge.
mhm,
And I had a problem with pricing and charging because I didn't know how in the beginning.
mhm.
Because it is difficult because of the market, and I constantly went on. I saw on social media people is doing it for 50% off for this. But there are people that is willing to pay you for that price because they. So if I want to charge 5,000 rand, I can because that client is acknowledging my work now.
Okay,
You
cool.
understand?
No, I hear you.
Yeah.
So I have to come to this part, value first.
Mm.
How has value first been
Wow.
helpful in your journey, and
Mm.
as in what did you say? I don't know. I don't know how to ask you, but how
Okay.
has having value first by your side been helpful in you getting to where you are now?
I don't think I would have been here without Valley first because the troubleshooting, the everything, the hi Dota, how do I do this? Hi, can you assist me? Without Valley first, I wouldn't have been able to because I don't have any other support system besides Valley first. And the amount of things I've learned through Valley first and the impact that it has or is still having on my life. I always pray for it to for Value First to be the greatest that it can ever be
Thank
because
you.
the impact that it made in my life, and I hope that it can make a lot of impact in others as well, because it is really like it changed my life completely, completely from yo I can't even explain.
Mhm.
um but they had Valley Force had a very major impact on my life. There's a lot of people that didn't believe in the beginning and dropped out or said, "Oh no, that's not for me," or whatever. And I said, "I will stay here. I will keep
I
doing this."
remember.
Yes, because I knew the impact that it was having from the get-go already. I felt comfortable. I felt like I had assistance. I felt like the daughter was my friend.
What are the plans? What are the big plans for this year? What are you hoping to achieve for yourself? And do you have any strategies that you might
Mm,
want to share? I mean, not the whole strategy or anything, but just ideas that someone else
I
who's
did.
sitting on the fence is not sure if this being an independent creative is worth it. So
Yeah.
what sort of what's in the pipeline for City Digitals?
Okay. I've never believed in setting like realistic, or not realistic, but I've never like last year I wasn't as serious when it came to setting goals or stuff or having a structure, you know? Um, because my clients that I had last year is going with me into the new year. And more people are, asking for work and wanting to sign up. So my strategy for this year is to build deeper relationships with my clients so that I can assist them, so that they can assist me as well. Because with them growing, I'm growing as well.
That, that-
So,
that's that's really beautiful. On the basis, I was listening to another podcast just this morning, and this
mm,
lady was breaking down how small businesses, most of them, they rely heavily on referrals for business. She was talking
yes,
about how she did the whole social media thing for so long, and she drummed up a big following, but it was not turning into sales. But what she
yes,
then found was that the sales actually come from
from
referrals,
referrals.
right?
Yes,
But it's
that's true.
amazing how little we do to nurture that tree and grow
Yes,
that tree of referrals.
yes,
So
yeah,
so I'm very happy that you mentioned that, because it's a very big
yeah,
part of our strategy for this year that we're going to unveil very soon. But more
yeah.
than anything, it's
And
saying if you're running a business, you definitely want to make sure that you've got a strategic way to get referrals, right? And
yes,
it's really about two things: giving value, right, to the client,
yes,
and
yes,
communicating
very
well
important.
throughout
Very
the
important.
relationship,
Yes,
so that when it's
very
time to ask
important.
for that referral, the conversation is
Yeah,
still hot. So yeah, I'm very
yes.
happy about that. Perhaps I want to
That's
just find out from a perspective, because most of what holds us back is what we believe about ourselves, right?
mm.
So is what we
I just
believe.
want to add something what
Yeah.
you said earlier. I was always worried about my social media's following growing
Mm-hmm.
because that automatically does not turn into clients, paying clients. It does not. My paying clients, that people that inquired on my DMs are only coming to me this year, you
Mm-hmm.
know, because they realizing, okay, this girl is actually good at what she does. Let me message her, I want work now. My following wasn't growing, but I had work every month because
Mm-hmm.
the work did not come from the followers alone. The work came from the referrals. My
Yes.
friends referring me to their friends.
Yes. And
My
your clients.
clients referring me to, yes, to their friends.
Yeah.
That's how my work has been
And the
coming.
beauty
And
and the beauty of web design work is that you don't just get direct referrals. So which means that you don't only get a referral when I refer you as your client,
yeah,
but my website literally at the bottom is has got your signature and a link to your website.
yes,
So there are people who actually
yes,
won't even talk to the owner of that website. They just go to that link, click, and then find out, oh, this is who did this website, and that's beautiful.
mm,
Bam. So I'm really happy about the fact that we are in agreement about that strategy, right? And and
yes,
and and the need to focus on it, because
yes.
a lot of people are stuck in the content creation.
It's not. And that's what I told my clients that I'm doing social media for as well. And I told them, your social media is just to show people who you are as a brand. It doesn't represent the amount of money that you make. So if you coming to me to build your followers in you want me to go you 10K followers, that's not gonna happen overnight, and it's not gonna guarantee you that
Say.
followers are gonna turn into paying followers because most of their followers are bots anyway on social media.
Mm-hmm.
So organic reach is much more better than than you paying so much money to put an ad out there to build your business. Whereas building a relationship and people that know you as value first, they will always come to you, because they
Yeah,
know you
and just
bring
to add
value.
to that, it's because I get the whole idea that the cost of acquisition, you should keep it down. Don't focus on paying for attention. try
Mm.
to earn attention, you know. But I
Yes.
think the biggest issue is also when your social you have a social media strategy that is just isolated, you know, because at the end of the day, whatever you're doing, when you're speaking on Facebook, you're speaking to Zuckerberg's list, you know, and
Yeah.
if you don't have a way to convert that list into your own email list, so that over time you can speak to them directly without having to be
Mm.
throttled by Zuckerberg
Mm.
or having to be to pay someone to be able to speak to your audience. So I think to add to what you're doing, make sure that you're also building an audience this year.
Yes.
We've got
Yes.
plan, we've got tools and whatever that we're going to provide you and everyone else to actually be able to do this effectively, you
Okay.
know. So definitely it's called a zero party list because the list, Facebook is a third party list. You don't own that list, right? So
Yeah.
it's a rented list. It's a pay to it's a pay to play game. So this is going to get you to a point where if you then commit to building your own list, then you've got people that you can speak to as often as you want. You know, you can automate even how you communicate with them because it takes a couple of touches for someone to buy from you. So it's not like social media doesn't work. It's just that it's
Mm.
only like the first step. There's so much else
The
that
first
needs to
step, yeah.
happen for the sale
Exactly.
to happen, right? So
Exactly.
so
That's what I
that's
also
basically
figured out.
what we are
Yes.
talking about. Yeah. So
Yes. I just want to point on that. I had a client that was in my on like you're saying social media now where we were conversating. It doesn't automatically make a client. The is not gonna pay you via social media. You
mhm,
understand? There's
mhm.
a lot that has to happen after that. You need to have a discovery call. You have to have a way of communicating other than via social media so
Yeah,
that
yeah,
client can pay you. They're not automatically just gonna transfer the money via social media, you know? So
yeah,
there's a lot of building going on beyond social media. That's just
yeah,
the first step, yeah.
yeah. But like, so I would think that most people, because I always, you know, how I always liken business to dating, you know, that you wouldn't just like you wouldn't go to a club and do a good dance and then you get a bit of attention and then all of a sudden think that that attention is going to turn into money or well it's going to
Yeah.
turn into a date type thing, you know. So you would still need to say, can I get your number, right, after you've done that,
Yeah.
right? And the person would need to give you their number. And if you take
Yeah.
that number and you keep it at home, every week that goes by without you doing anything, you're being forgotten, right? So you still
Yes.
need to figure out that how you're going to keep engaging this person so that next time there's another party or whatever, they would feel that they know, like, and trust you enough to maybe go with you.
Mm.
Right. So it's the
Mm.
same thing. It's what we need to do when we're running our businesses.
Yeah.
We need to understand that the social media is there for you to get hand raisers. Who's interested in me?
Yes.
So you just define yourself to
Yes.
say who's interested in me. But those people that are
Yeah.
interested, them liking your page, it's not enough. They have to like it,
It's
and then
not
on top of
enough.
it, you have to get them out of Facebook into your world,
Yes.
right?
Into your
So if
world,
they are
yeah.
in your email, if you've got their phone number, you can WhatsApp them. If you've got their phone number, you can SMS, you can call them, you know, and all that kind of stuff. Then that's when they become your zero party list, your own list. And once you've got your own list, you're then in a position to
Yes.
really be in control of the communication because it takes
Yeah.
about what 8 touches for someone to really even focus on your message, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So seeing your message once is just not going to be enough on Facebook, you know? So you need to put them into your email, whatever, call them, use all types of communication channels to stay in
Yes.
front of them. So that's what needs
Yeah.
to happen. Okay, so just to wrap up now, um here's a question I want to ask because this whole thing is about a transformation. This whole thing um is about how you what you think you're capable of. So what I want to find is what has this process, putting this 8 months of hard work and emotional draining work, you know, because the most draining part of this thing is the emotional part of it. So
Yes.
what has it done for you? How has it transformed you? what do you believe now about yourself that maybe you did not believe 8 months ago?
Yeah. That the self-doubting, okay, what I learned about myself, what I've learned through this, I have a lot of character development after this program.
Mm-hmm.
I have more confidence in myself now. The way that I communicate with my clients, or the way that I communicate with people in general, changed
Mm-hmm.
because I gained confidence,
Mm-hmm.
and understanding that for me, for me was important was like there's no one else but this is me. So if my work does not shine through, then what am I? There's
No one
no
is
one
coming.
doing this. Yes. There's no employer that's paying me, and there's no employer that's doing it, and I'm the face. I'm the face, I'm the brand, I'm everything. So I
Mm-hmm.
have to constantly give my all. And I had to stress myself enough to not fall ill or anything like that because I knew I had a goal. When I had like flu symptoms or anything, I said, "There's no way. I would fight through it because I knew that I had an end goal and to what I'm doing now, and it had a major impact to just change my mind. And also, how can I put this now? Um, you have to change the way you think if you have specific goals because you can't be thinking like a 9 to 5, if I can put it like that. You
Yeah, I
can't be
get you.
thinking like a 9 to 5. I knew that this December I could not be the craziest person ever because I had work to do and I know people was depending on me and paying me.
Mm-hmm.
Because without me doing any work, I won't get paid.
Mm-hmm.
So if I expect certain work, if I expect payment from my clients, I'm gonna have to give my all.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I believe that I constantly have to give my all in everything that I do. And I always say, no matter how I feel today, um, I'm gonna give my all.
Yeah,
And
cool.
if you have a positive mindset, you will be fine.
Awesome. So
Yeah.
character, so you feel like your character has been definitely strengthened through this exercise.
Yes,
And one thing that you that I mean, obviously I've been working with you all this year, so I'm asking you this, but I definitely
definitely.
know
Yeah.
how well you've been sort of building yourself,
Thank you.
so I just wanted it to come out for everyone else who might be listening. And you are spot on in the sense that I do know that you don't sleep on work. When you've got work to do, that's when you're most excited, most energetic, right? So I just maybe want you now to 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 take a second to be the guide, right? And speak to someone out there who is on the fence. They're thinking, I don't think I can do this whole relying on myself, whatever type thing. What would you say to that person? That person who's really not as confident that they would make
Mm.
it. They don't think they're gonna make it across the river if they jump in. So what would you say to that person? How would you nudge that person towards jumping?
No.
But sorry, you said
Um,
something super, super um, profound in the beginning that says, I am growing up, right? And I could see that I don't have
yeah.
something to hold on to. So I do
Yes.
want that to be to be the theme of how you're going to approach this, because
Yeah.
if you are saying
Okay.
if you are growing up and you're still working a dead end job, that you could lose any day anyway, right? And
Yeah.
and and even though you could lose any day, and even if you don't lose it, in fact, if you lose it, it might be a blessing in disguise, right? Because you'll be forced
Yeah.
to do something meaningful, right? But so yeah, I just want you to frame it from there to say, what did you say to that person right now who was the
Okay.
you 8 months ago?
Okay. We all have potential to do anything inside of us, and we always settle for the bare minimum for less because that's how we were brought up.
Mm,
So to take a risk is not an easy thing, but without knowing what's the outcome, we might as well just take the risk, you know? Because the greatest thing can happen is you never lose anything. You literally only just gain because you're always learning. You always develop. It's part of self-development. Um, because if you don't put yourself in a rough situation, you're never gonna know what the outcome would be, you know? So if you're thinking of, oh, I can't do this for myself, I can't do this for myself, where are you going to be 5 years from now? What is your goal 5 years from now? We can't only be reading books of how to get rich, how to become an entrepreneur, how to make a million overnight. We can't just be reading books like that if we're not putting in the work, you know? Because there's people that's reading books and wanting to get better and um wanting $1 million overnight, how to get rich, but they're not willing to put in the work. So if you're willing to put in the work and if you're willing to take a leap of faith and take a risk, then you will be fine.
Thank you,
That's
thank you,
all.
thank you.
And
All right,
it
Caryn.
doesn't happen the next day. it does take
Right.
does
So
take some
what I'm
time.
going to do is, because I see we've got people in the chat or in the session, so I'd like to really just open up this moment for any questions that a person might have, either for you or for myself. This is how I'd like us to sort of round up this situation. So
Okay.
can we all just like unmute our mics and go for it and just have it. Like I said, this was supposed to be a free flowing conversation. So I want us to have
Mm,
that now. We've got 10 minutes left or so.
okay.
So this is an ask to everyone else in the session. So just unmute yourself and shoot. It goes back to exactly what Caryn is speaking about, that most of the time we're willing to consume information, we're willing to take that book, read it and whatever, but we're not willing to risk saying something. We're not willing to risk doing something. But results come from that. They come from us saying something, they come from us doing something.
Correct.
Yes, ma'am. I see you unmuted.
So, I have like a question. I'm not sure. Like the question that I have basically is, I started a few months ago also, but now I created a website and loaded it to the system itself. But that is where I stopped. It was just like I don't know if I should create another website or like follow up or what the case might be, if you know what I mean.
Right. So you created the website on the very first platform or elsewhere?
By you guys on the Value
Oh,
First website.
all right. The best way generally is really to always like keep reaching out and asking for guidance when you're not sure. Pretty much that's what Caryn did better than everybody else. She was that person who would not stop asking, no matter
I
what
was
you
a
said.
pest.
So
I was a
that's
pest.
really what you would have had to do. But right now we're basically folding that first leg of the program, which was about learning how to build a website, and we're now going to the second leg, which is about learning how to sell. Right. So so what I'd say is just keep your eyes on your email for when you start the new program. You will still be able to learn the web design and whatever and so on and so forth. But what we've found now is that it's more practical for us. We've basically broken down the program into three units now, or three steps, to say, you have to actually approach it in three steps, because uh, we found that people could create and get excited and then get really deflated when they are not able to sell, right? So what we said is that there's three steps now that we're saying follow in the program, and we're going to introduce this very soon. And the first step is you kind of need to learn how to see opportunity, right? So we're going to be sort of teaching you how to see opportunity and get paid just for seeing before you create anything, right? So that's really what we're going to teach you first. But how can you really get paid just from being able to connect dots and make money that way? Then once you are comfortable with that, you understand the customers, you understand how to see customers, how to see solutions, and how to match them together. We're going to take you to the next step, which is creating value. Now, this is to say that now that you know the person that you want to serve and you know their needs, you are able to see them, because seeing is based on this concept that says, if you're struggling to get seen, if you're struggling to get people to adopt a product, it's because you will not be seen until you learn to see, right? So you need to learn to see before you can be seen. So this means, how do you take yourself out of your shoes and your problems and whatever, and put yourself in someone else's shoes and says, if I was this person, what would I need? What would I be willing to pay for? What would be useful for me? So once you understand that concept, you've learned how to see. Then you're able to then say, what solutions can I match with this person, right? So the second step of what we're going to teach you now in the program is going to be creating value. This is going to be, it's really about creating offers. In as much as I'm saying creating value, because that's where value comes in. If I offer you something, the offer itself is going to define whether or not you are going to believe enough to do the thing, right? So the value doesn't start when you're doing the work for the customer. It starts when you're creating the offer. How do you present the thing that you want me to enroll into? Because if you present it in a way that doesn't give me confidence, then you've just done me a disservice, because I'm not going to do it, even though it's a good thing, because it was poorly presented to me, right? So that's where creating value is about. It's how do you create massive value that your customers will literally feel stupid saying no to the offer. And then the final part is, then how do you build trust? How do you earn trust? So this is where we're going to be saying, you need to have proof of the thing that you do. So how do you build that proof? So that once you can see the customers, you can make the offer and you can prove your value, selling becomes a very, very easy thing to do, right? So that's what we're going to be doing. So I just say, keep your eyes open on your email, on the WhatsApp group, and so on and so forth. We are going to be announcing the start possibly as early as next week.
But I also feel like if she has people like to create some websites for, then she can start doing that. Or if it was one or two clients, if you have that you can approach, then I suggest you create it for that person, and then you can approach the client with having your website. Do you understand?
Yeah, I fully understand. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. I hope I was not windy, because like I feel like I spoke too much. I'm hoping that I still answered your question. Caryn,
Yes, you did fully.
Mm-hmm.
oh, perfect.
Yes.
Caryn, I'm gonna leave this to you to close. Do you wanna close this? How do you wanna close this? This is your interview, it's not mine, so you might as well close it.
Oh, oh, I'm letting me close it now. Okay, I just want to say thank you for taking the time out and giving me this opportunity and this platform to have a voice, and inspire others. And I hope that everyone else can also join this journey and make a success of themselves. It's not impossible. You can do anything that you want to do. No one can stop you. Don't listen to the outside noise. If you have a foundation, even if it's one client, start with that client. If you know that you can approach someone, one person, because that one person will turn into 100.
Mm-hmm.
So
Thank you.
even if you're working with one person, take that moment, take that leap of faith, and I think join the program and let's do this together. I'm not done with the program yet. I'm still learning.